Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the eastern wing of the Stink Bug Works. This morning, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, this thing gave me yet another surprise. This thing is just full of surprises. I wanted to take this bellows out. And the reason being is, while it's a perfectly good bellows today, there will be a time somewhere down the line that it's no longer a perfectly good bellows. And I think they did use, well, no, this is not silicone. This is just a rubber bellows. It will fail over time. So I'm knocking the hole out. They didn't use solvent weld adhesives in this thing. They just used adhesives. So it was easy to break the glue joint. For example, I don't have it now. It's up there. I have an X-Acto knife with a flat edge blade, and it was easy to work your way under the glue and just split the glue. I found that you could actually cut into the plastic, and when you hit the glue, the knife would just follow the glue joint. So that was a bonus in removing the material. So stand by. As I'm busting out the bellows, this comes out with it. And what they had done is there's another little thin sheet like this that's still in here. So they apparently glued a thin sheet in here, and then they glued various pieces around smaller pieces, stuck them in there, and then glued this on top of it. So there were gaps in this thing. You can see where the screws pulled through here, and they busted this little section out because of this hunk of wood. And it was just sloppily done, and I'm sure it's because who would ever see this? Only somebody that was going to say, let's hang some metal hardware off there. And the whole reason for wanting to hang this stuff off is it's serviceable. The stuff that came on this thing was good enough to last for, if you run as often as Big B, a couple of months. If you run as often as I do, a couple of years, until this rotted out. So you were stuck between the equipment given out or the equipment given out. So I'm putting in this replacement equipment. I'm knocking this thing out. I'm going to use that the sliding linkage I used in the Atlas. It's a 3/32 brass tube, and inside of it slides a 1/16 stainless steel tube. And inside the stainless steel tube is glued a piece of 1/32 music wire, and then the music wire is attached, with your things here. So they're all replaceable now. The way this was, I could never replace that bellows. If it went out, I was screwed. So that's going to get replaced. Now, this piece of wood wasn't so much a structural member of the transom as it was a template. And it was a template for a carbon fiber piece that has nuts appropriately glued to it, these nuts will not come out. And the plan is I will take this grease, this here grease, and I'll pump these here nuts full of this here grease. Then what I'll do is I'll mix up some epoxy. I've got 5 minutes that I can work with it before it starts getting too thick to play with. So here's the plan. I'll mix up a big pot of epoxy. I can always use less than I mix, but if I run out, I'm screwed. So I'll wind up using about half this tube on the first mix. I'll mix it all up. I'll grab one of these paint brushes and I'll paint inside here, and I'll allow it to dribble through here for a bit. I'll explain why in a minute. I'll paint this, then I will paint this, and remember, these are already packed full of oil, so I'll paint these, and then what I'll do, and I've been practicing this, and it goes in fairly easy. You just keep it like that, and as you get to the end, this is why I left these holes open, you square the thing up, and it'll snap right in home, just like that. Then you can get the outside edges with this piece of plastic, and they're already seated. Then the fun part is to set the glue. You clamp on your hardware after you fill this hole, wipe all the things down, fill it up a little bit, put a piece of tape over it, clean these holes out so you can get your grease-coated screws through your bits of hardware to clamp that thing in place. So there you go. You have it clamped right across here where you need it. It still pops into place in the corners. It's all good. It's because I had a perfect template. Then through this hole, this stuff, once it's hard, you can sand it and drill it and such. So through this hole and through this little bit of carbon, I'll drill the 3/32 hole for my rudder rod. Then in here, I'll have a little vertical piece of styrene plastic to hold the other end of the rudder tube. And I've been looking at this hull. And remember I was talking, this flex. Well, this hull doesn't have a whole lot of flex, but it has some. And I see a way I can solve it the easiest possible and the lightest possible way. And when these flex, the top and bottom flex, this forms a spar essentially across here. And all I need do is put in a piece of shear webbing across here, and that will stiffen everything up. It'll prevent this piece from moving, because what this does is when you flex it, you see it moves up and down. It'll prevent that, and so that'll add a whole bunch of stiffness for this much weight. As you can tell, I'm being very weight conscious on this thing. If it isn't necessary, it's gone. So the only thing that isn't necessary, but I'm going to use, is this, and this. You know, as I'm looking at this thing, these stickers would be real easy to pull off. Some lighter fluid and some time and attention, and they'd all come off, and you'd have a bare white hull. These things look pretty close to scale. You could paint these things up and just have a hell of a time with them. Too bad they're no longer available. I mean, these were like $129. They were cheap. Anyway, I digress. So I think I'm going to get to work. I'm going to mix me up some epoxy here and see what happens. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.